Possibly, perhaps.
We're not ready, but on the other hand, they're seeing the Muppets in the chats.
I know,
so
the whole Muppet
I
thing
love
is,
that.
the whole Muppet gang is going on in the chats.
I love it.
We have our own Waldorf and Statler. I don't know which ones they are, but we have them.
No, that's the boys.
Well,
That's the boys. And I will tell you, I have found Waldorf and Statler material. I'm desperate to make them shirts.
oh no, Rick T. No, I am not going where no Spurgle has gone before.
Well, no, wait a minute.
Oh, heck no.
No, that might be a nice, comfortable world because no Spurgle has been there, right? That would be okay.
Oh.
That would work. So apparently you can hear us,
Sounds like it.
Possibly.
and the stream looks like it's actually okay today.
Yay.
I mean, the video is clear on this end, but that doesn't mean it is on the other end.
Right.
We are getting confirmation 5x5.
Oh,
All
yes.
right.
Okay, that's
Excellent.
good to see.
Yes.
Glad to
So
hear
that
it.
means my internet providers had major issues because of the storm they had a while ago here.
Yeah.
And plus some days everything just doesn't want to work here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, we had a USB cable issue, which was the audio problem from last time, and
Yeah.
I think we've resolved that one.
well, it was just like, no, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
We don't want to, and we're not gonna. It's like, fine.
I don't feel like
So-
working today. Well, neither do I, but we both
Okay.
had to.
Well, I will say that the USB cable that we were having issues with is one of the really skinny ones,
Mm,
really
yeah.
thin. This one's
Yeah.
a lot thicker, more robust feeling.
Yes.
Excellent.
So,
And look, I'm actually here.
yes.
We have a Jonna.
We
do have a
I don't know how much of me is actually here, but so, I'm still kind of tired from my trip.
Yes.
So
I should clarify, this is not an urn of ashes or anything like that, no matter what it may look like.
Right.
no. And now they're saying they're getting still framed again, but I'm not. So
Well, we're going to carry on as though we are actually working. And
Because we are working. This
we are
is working.
This is work.
This is kind of fun work, but this is working.
is it working?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My son asked me the other day how many hours a week I work. And I'm like, 40. And he's like, no, the other job too. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can count that. Probably no more than 60, maybe.
If I spend in the morning before I get here, I'm at 60 or so hours a week or thereabouts. So it's just
That's what self-employment's all about.
I
is
know.
You
People
don't
think-
count.
let's be self-employed. Are you insane?
Counting is the way to insanity.
Yeah, I don't look, I count my benefits, right? Like, I don't have to get dressed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I can do all of my emails in my underwear.
Yeah.
Well, okay, to be
Okay,
honest,
so you did your interview in your
I did
underwear
a job
today.
interview in my underwear today.
She did. Today, this woman in her underwear. She was like sitting at her desk with the whole like
They
doing
really
the
see- I mean, this part's the part that they saw in the interview. I have a jacket. I have a business casual-esque blouse if I don't let it drop too low the way it wants to.
Oh my god.
Hi, Mom.
Here, we're talking about your underwear and your mom turns up. So.
So underneath these skirts, because these are wrap skirts, when I got them, Kortnee and I were talking about it, and she pointed out that she wears like bicycle shorts underneath of them because they're wrap skirts, and this is Texas, and it's windy, and the wrong gust at the wrong moment, and suddenly there's more of you on display than you would like.
Yes.
So I have discovered that these soft bicycle shorts, because the ones I got are not like the compression shorts.
Right. It's
So
just
there's this buttery, soft knit fabric, and I like them.
So last week, a question and answer session. So and
Yes.
there's
Yes.
6 of you here now. So you have an opportunity to ask questions. So
Yeah, this is kind of an AMA.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how much of that last A we want to do, but
I'm an open book, but be careful. We'll answer
we
the
already have
question.
one, which is, are they clean?
are they clean? Yes, they're
Yes, they're
clean.
clean.
Yeah.
What kind of a question is that? I am the mother of 4. Not that much of a hypocrite.
So, gang, we are pixelating and having
A little
problems,
bit.
but that is a
Oh.
YouTube issue. It is
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
us. So,
unfortunately, we have no control. Once the once the signal goes out, Mal, it can keep going out, but that doesn't mean it's going to be smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, YouTube has been particularly difficult for a number of people lately,
Mhm.
and we're sorry about that.
Yeah.
We don't have any control over it, so
Yeah. Certain parts of the internet have been having issues today.
yeah.
Yeah, getting into my bank took
That's
8
not
different
good.
tries because the website was having issues. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I run
Couple
into
other-
that once in a while.
So
So
we're going to give you a little bit of time here before we take a question out of the jar.
do we want to
for-
start with a question out of the jar to give them a chance to come up with questions?
So this is the opportunity for Ask Us Anything.
mhm.
Mhm.
I guess I'd be careful.
And there
We
were
will answer.
questions. There were questions from last week, so I can pull those up.
Oh.
That's good. We can do that. And I can put the
Start
jar
with
down.
Let me,
Putting the jar down.
it might take a minute, but we will.
Mhm. Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
You know, if you say that to one of those stupid things people have in their house that they talk to,
Alexa.
Alexa. I
Mhm.
mean, it's like,
So for the longest time, and one of the first things my dad did when he realized his computer was capable of pulling sound from things and then playing it, he had so much fun with that.
No.
Because his name was Dave.
I will tell you, Rick.
Ah.
I will tell you, Rick. You can ask me a question, and I will usually answer it.
Uh-huh.
But you be careful. So, I just realized my hair hurts. So
Yeah.
Let the hair
I
down.
have my hair up all day.
Free hair.
Yeah. So one of the first things my dad did was go and grab the thing from HAL 9000.
Thank you, Rick. I bless the reins too.
They have provided us with so much amusement.
I'm sorry. I am from the land of pretentious hippies that go to Burning Man. And are you going to burn this year? Are you going to burn? No, because I would burn because I'm a pasty white girl and I like being clean. So,
Yeah. I actually have friendly acquaintances. We worked together for a couple years.
mhm.
Who makes all of her rent money, or at least did when we worked together, selling fur leggings for Burning Man.
Yes. So we did have a question. Oh, sorry. If you weren't done.
Go ahead.
Did you ever decide what to spend, whatever was gathered on the Give Send Go? Curious what you may need as we are dumping some older technology items at work. You should contact Kortnee. We did purchase some items. With not enough, obviously.
Mhm.
But email Kortnee, RecPress editor. She can
Yeah, I can
answer that question. 'Cause
yeah.
she's the person doing all that. So because there may be some things that we could use that you have. And yes, we take donations. So
Yes, I will take donations of technology. We'll see if we can make it work.
There's nothing wrong with hand-me-downs.
No.
yeah,
So
I mean, we're all about that. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the things, because we do have an Amazon wish list, and one thing's on there is a refurbished computer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we can, and because we need memory to process a lot of the video, because we're trying to get it up on Spotify and
Yeah.
all them.
Yes.
right.
And we've been slowly in the background. Kortnee's been doing that. So
Yeah, but part of our delay on some of that is the limits of my processing power on my laptop. And I have to go from one laptop to another laptop because I don't have enough memory on both to do everything that's required to do it.
yeah.
Right.
So-
And I have the
And you have-
capabilities, but I don't have the time.
Right. I have this
So-
wonderful phone that can do that, but it's also my work phone. So
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we eventually a dedicated computer to do all of this, not just for the Three Moms of the Apocalypse, but Rack Control Press and even whatever Jim needs to do.
yeah,
So,
part of Raconteur Press is we have a lot of stuff in the cloud, and I would rather not have a lot of
Mhm.
things in the cloud. So having
Yeah.
storage off of that for
No,
previous,
if the video is frozen, it was not deliberate.
Mhm.
So I don't know. The test case scenario we've got over here. Jonna's got her laptop, so
Yeah.
she can monitor it,
It's actually
and it's looking okay. So you might try stopping, getting out of it, and coming back into it.
yeah.
I know that was working for the guys' video the other day.
Yeah.
So Rick says it's back to the full video
Yeah,
quality.
this is very definitely
So-
a
It's a
YouTube
YouTube
issue.
thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Because it's really clear on the internet here. So I guess it just depends upon what's doing, which is really annoying. since I pay for really good internet, to have the interface with YouTube be so difficult. So,
Michael, if it doesn't have an operating system, we can take care of that part.
Yeah. handle.
That we can do.
We have tech people on this end.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, and as far as the heron in the canyon goes, I hope they find it. It was kind of cool to see the big blue heron.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was on our hike. We
Nice.
flushed this great blue heron out of the spring, and we were hiking in Picture Canyon, Comanche National Grasslands, and I love seeing the great blue herons because they're so dinosaur-like. I mean, more so than some other birds.
Yeah, the white herons aren't quite as dinosaur, but we got the blue ones behind the warehouse all the time. So
yeah, the great white herons are just elegant. And it's funny because the one that I know well, who's named Winston, that lives out at Lake Arrowhead State Park, he's such an elegant bird, and he hangs out right by the fish table because he knows he's going to get fed fish guts.
Okay.
So, and it stinks. Ooh, does it stink by the fish table? That's where all the fishers clean their catch.
Well,
we've seen when we do the bird walks near there, we've just like dumped whole fish that for some reason, I don't know what was going on there.
Okay, as long as wildlife is coming and getting a snack, that's okay. But
yeah.
I like when people do that.
I think these were too big for Winston to eat because he hadn't touched them, but
No.
certainly other things were.
Other things will nibble.
That is a good thing. We have a good scavenger system in the ecosphere around us, because otherwise,
Yeah,
I had that at the warehouse too, but they usually were in crashed out RVs and broken down pickup trucks and cars. But they were definitely scavenger culture.
They were definitely scavenger culture.
I was back in Oregon a week, and it was Oregon itself is beautiful, but the people who live there are not necessarily great in the parts I was in. So not fun.
Yeah.
So other questions.
Yes.
You had other questions on your from last week.
So the first question, not the first question we got, but is it, Mom, are we there yet?
Don't make me pull this car over.
We will get there when we get there.
So Kortnee and I are up to our eyeballs into "Are we there yet?" moment.
Oh my God.
Because we both
because you're kind, sweet, wonderful women, and you stepped in where there was a need.
Okay, so the first
part
I ran
of that, screaming in the other direction.
The part where "and you stepped into where there was a need" is true. I don't know about all the rest of the stuff before that. Because we stepped in for needs with GeekCon, and new conventions always have a lot of struggles. And
we're 9 days out.
We're 9 days out.
It's the last minutes.
Oh my God, has anyone done? I said something about that 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. And so we're having an "Are we there yet?" moment.
Yes, because the con is going to be amazing.
We're going to have a
fantastic time.
It's going to be terrific. So,
quite frankly, if just the people show up, it's going to be great.
Yes.
Because the people I know are coming.
I know the bar is showing up.
Oh, the bar is definitely showing up.
We'd like to take the bar and not bring it all home with us.
I mean, it's the end of the convention season. We should drink it all.
We should.
Yes.
And then refresh for next year.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this makes sense. So, okay. So are we there yet?
Are we there yet? We'll get there. 9 days. We're almost there.
Almost there.
So one was, if I got a prompt for a postcard and it didn't get picked, how much to buy it for a cover?
Oh, so the postcard prompts, ping me about that, rackpressdesign at Gmail, and we'll talk. But I'm not going to say I'm going to give them away, but I'm essentially giving them away. But we need to talk because I will want credit for the cover art. With the cover, then we'll talk about how it'll be.
Yeah.
So I will. So that's an answer. Also, speaking of postcards, the guys announced this, and we're going to reiterate it. This will be the last open call for the Postcards Challenge anthologies at PCon.
And the title for this one is "Never Again."
We had an idea. Never again.
I
We'll have
have
other
a
ideas.
Never again.
No, we'll have other ideas. And the
Yeah.
train blows its horn to punctuate here.
Yes.
Just this one has been.
That has been what the postcard challenges have been. An oncoming train at high velocity.
It has been fun. And it's
Such a learning experience.
it has been a learning experience. It has been a blast. It has been a ride. It has been a train ride for sure. Right into the whole moments of train wreck, which we've managed to recover from. So here's the thing with the postcards anthology is it's been really fun. We've done it for almost the full year, and there will be variations. And other people may take similar ideas and go off and do it on their own.
More power to them.
And there will be other books. So here's the thing. This is the last open call. If, however, it was a story and it did to one of the first books, there's a plan for books that will use those next year.
Yes.
Yes.
There are actually several that I wanted to use in. There's one that's for a Space Marine story.
Yes.
And there's one that's perfect for. There were several that were perfect for the cowboy story. So
Yes.
we're negotiating on that one.
Yes.
But there's a couple where I'm like, this is a fantastic 50-word short story that we might throw it in one of the anthologies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Why not? Why
Yeah.
not tuck it in? I mean, because wow, the ratio of absolutely amazing to okay. We were way on the high quality end.
It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
phenomenal. So here's the thing: is at Pecan, it will open in the early hours of Friday morning, September
Friday.
15th.
Not this Friday.
Friday,
Next Friday.
September
Friday.
15th.
9
Next
days from
Friday.
now.
Not
days from now.
I wake up fairly early in the morning, so you get your image prompt in, and I will send it out to you. I will be monitoring emails. And then it closes midnight, September 18th, which is Monday.
Mm-hmm. And Jonna sits down and goes through all of them, and throws out the ones that are bad. People, oh my God, chip your stories. This is going to be my next phrase that we use all the time.
Check for your email and your name
Well,
on the
It's
story
not just
document.
that, but also count your words, put it all
Yes.
12-point type. Don't make your title bigger because you think it looks cool. I mean,
It does look cool,
I
but
do that when I format the book.
but it messes up
it messes.
everything into.
So, yes. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
We have Rick. We have several plans. We do have the Take Two at Christmas time, which is
Mhm.
going to be a 2-volume set of the ones yelling at each other about how we wanted them in.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
these we're going to pull from each of the anthologies that we've done
Right.
and create the Take Two set at the end of the year.
The words in the title do not count, Carlton.
No, words in the title do not count. The
50
very
words of the story.
important thing is the hyphenation trap.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the hyphenation trap is where if the word is normally hyphenated like a spelled out number like 49, the hyphen is perfectly fine. If you are hyphenating words because of the story, those count as 2 words for the contest, but your word count program will count it as 1. I try to catch those early and send them back and say you're in the hyphenation trap because you're 1
Mhm.
over. I'm not going to have time because I'm going to be working, so I'm not going to be able to catch that.
Mhm.
But we had a lot of stories who were doing that and then
So
counting
close.
and saying, "Oh, I've got 50 words." It's like, no, you have 54 words because you have 4 sets that are hyphenated.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very much a stickler about that. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and if you don't have your name on it, it gets thrown. If it's not every single word on the page is not 12-point Times New Roman, it gets thrown because the
We
only
get
way
so many of them.
we got 96.
Yeah, we got
submissions
96
that-
this last time.
Yeah, and no, it was 96 that passed
Mhm.
out of 100, 102 that came back from the 161 we sent out.
Yeah.
So,
Which is the other thing. I have the images mostly generated for this already. So I'm ready to go, and I expect this one to be big because it is the last open call. So, it's once
This
it
is.
opens, and feel free to share. We'll be having the usual graphics with all the instructions. We'll be putting that out a day or two beforehand, maybe a little earlier than that, just because with the con, and I'm actually going to this con.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be fun, and we want you all to have fun and take part.
And you're right, Rick.
But-
this is about if you're submitting anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
you need to follow the instructions for submission to the letter.
Yes.
So this is training young authors to get it
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
And this is a safer way to do it, because I'll write back and go, I'm really sorry you blew it. You're 3 words over. So,
Yep.
And honestly, there are some places where they're not as big a stickler for the rules, but you cannot count on
don't
that.
take that chance.
No.
No.
I mean, that's why risk having a wonderful story rejected just because you didn't follow. Okay, so
No other formatting.
Right, formatting with bold and italics. I would avoid bold, because here's the thing: is when I format these books, and I am using a specific display font, and it doesn't handle multiple formats like that very well. There are some things I can do if you really feel like you need that emphasis, but mostly let's not play those games.
Yeah, if you're going to be a rules lawyer at me, I will just toss you, because I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it.
With the anthology stories, like
That's different.
That's different.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
bold doesn't pick up as easily as italics do.
Yeah.
So if you have a choice, do italics, because the program I use when I'm formatting those catches the italics no problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't always notice the bold.
Mhm.
And I don't always notice the bold.
Yeah. So, but with the postcards, it's really clear. Just
The postcards are not formatted like a regular book, like an
No.
anthology or novel would be. The postcards are formatted in a graphics design program. If any of you have worked with InDesign, think like that. It's not that. I'm not. Please God, no.
Don't make our work for Cedar.
So
for me,
I am laying this stuff out like art. It's a very graphic heavy books, and I am laying it out like a poetry collection. I mean, I guess because of how I'm doing the layout and the structure of each page.
I just realized something here.
What?
that we're having post-traumatic stress, because boy, did that question push a button. we're all like, ah!
This is why this is the last of the postcard anthology open calls.
Yes.
Because wow, I mean,
we need some downtime.
We'll come up with other bright ideas. There will be other really fun things.
Yes.
This one's going to take a break.
And we're going to use some of the stuff that we've had already submitted on other things.
Because there's so much wonderful. Oh, so anyway.
Yeah.
How about we do a different one?
Okay, let's do a different story. Okay.
Different question.
When autographing an anthology, do you do it on the title page, the table of contents, or the start page of your story?
You guys get that one.
I've always done it on the start page of the story. So
I'll do it in the table of contents next to my name and on the start page of my story.
Okay.
So people know that it's
that makes sense.
But I'm gonna sign my story.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, putting my signature where the story is always made the most sense to me. And I know I actually had someone sign an art book years ago, and he flipped to the back of the book where there was like little bios and pictures of the different artists involved, and with a silver Sharpie because it was on black paper. It was a very high-end, nice art book.
Yeah.
Face painters. So,
okay.
Nicest people in the world. Not always the most sensible, but super nice.
I just signed show programs, so
Yeah.
But those days are over for me. So
there was an episode of Castle where he signed the front cover of a book, and every author watching went, "No!"
Yeah.
You're not signing your picture, you stupid actor.
Which is exactly what he signed it like.
I just had a moment. Sorry, it's good. Too many years working with actors. Seriously,
that's exactly
the
how
choice
he
you
did it.
made.
So, and the thing is, too, is that if you're at an event and you don't actually have a physical book to sign, this is why I create postcards that have art on one side and a blank back so that I can sign it and personalize it for them. Because a lot of people do ebooks these days.
Joel, you're
So-
awful.
I see it. No, we mean it this time.
Joel, you should know that Kortnee and Kortnee and I, at least we know for sure, we're going to be at MarsCon again. So you need to come by and see. We want to see your lovely kids again, but in New York.
I was going to say, I think he moved.
He's in New York, but
So
we'll at least be on that coast. So
Yeah,
As close
closer
as we
than we've
can
been
manage.
any other.
I think we evaluated some New England conventions and decided that they were not a good fit.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Joel, that's just too perfect. Never again. No, really. We need it.
Speaking of mothering. Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions.
Other questions. You all can be asking
You guys
questions
can
in
ask pulling stuff from the
from the
Facebook
abortive
post last
attempt that
time.
we did. Yeah.
Yeah, they attempted the questions last week, and it was just being impossible. So
You can't use the mic if it's not this mic, it's the other mic, and it was echoey and it was an issue. Do we have
Yeah.
a question?
Do we have a question? We do.
Rick, I agree with you.
If I submitted a story for an anthology and it wasn't chosen, but I didn't get a rejection letter, would I be able to feedback on what I could do to improve the story for resubmission?
Oh, so you know, so our anthologies are filling up really fast with really great stories. So we get this giant one. Poop, we put them all in there. Kortnee read them all. But there's a whole bunch of them that are still fabulous that we want to keep. So I just moved them into the Pinup Noir 2 pile. It doesn't mean your story wasn't good. It just means it probably moved to a new pile, which is why this coming year with our 24 with 24, rather than have these big, long waits to find out things from us,
Right.
we're telling people do not submit a story until the call actually opens. So we're not holding it off the market for a long time like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've had some where I didn't realize I've been seeing it since November,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it's like crap. I mean, like it's a good story. It just
Mhm.
it didn't
Yeah.
fit
It
with
didn't
what
fit
I
with
had
that group. Yeah.
going together.
Yeah.
And that's part of
What we're learning.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
And we
one thing
basically need to have 3 letters, which is an acceptance letter,
Mhm.
we've put you on hold for the next anthology
Yeah.
letter, and then a straight up rejection letter.
Yeah.
And the rejection letters.
It's not rejection letters. Please go try again.
yeah.
I hate that
Right.
word.
Mhm.
I hate rejection because it's not a rejection. It's a like, this needs a little more work. Go try it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
You know?
and those do have feedback in them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's- I don't do them so.
Right. Yeah. So
Can
when I do the rejection letter, sometimes it's the story didn't work. It didn't gel. I understand what you're trying to do. Try again. Sometimes it's the story idea wasn't ripe yet.
Mhm.
Sit
Yeah,
on it for a
Tiffany,
while and do it again.
If you haven't gotten a no, it means we're still onto it because we're still looking
Mhm.
at it. Okay.
Yeah.
But
And Don, this is why I'm not doing anthologies.
but this is also something that because Raconteur Press had this wah moment
Mm.
where everybody suddenly found us, and I mean, you should see what we have in the hopper for All Will Burn, because wow, are there some amazing stories, and there's oh my, we're like, how are you even going to pick? I don't want that job.
And I've started in
And we're going to have to hold over into, because we know we're doing
Mhm.
volume 2 already. It's already on the schedule.
yeah.
But there's enough. We could do 3 of really, I mean, because the
Yeah.
stories are so strong. So we're trying really hard to get ahead of that, so I can say, we're still holding you. I've moved you into the next pool.
Mhm.
And then give you the option of saying, well, I'd really rather not have it held. I want to try another market.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right.
And
So-
I've actually started sending those emails to people where I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't get into this one. It's
Mhm.
likely going to be in the next one, but I won't be sending those contracts out until this
Yes.
date.
That's
If
why
you
we
s-
have our contract dates up now.
Mhm.
We have our every single anthology now has the date the contracts will go out, because we want people to know when they can expect to hear from us.
Yeah.
So,
And to be able to poke us then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gives people a timeline to query.
Yes.
Alan asks about a naming question, anthologies versus collections. So an anthology is a collection of books by different, or stories rather, by different authors. A collection would be a collection of stories by a single author.
Yes.
So I have a collection of stories out called Crow Moon that is 8 fantasy tales that are only really related by being fantasy genre. And that is a collection. An anthology is what we here at Raconteur Press are doing with a bunch of different authors with loosely related stories.
Yes.
So
I actually have, so back, and I didn't realize just how long ago I was doing these. 2013, I was doing Flash Fiction Friday, where I did a Flash Fiction every Friday for the year.
Oh, how cool.
And it was so much fun.
so are you going to collect those and put them out?
So I actually did. And they didn't sell at all.
Oh.
So actually what I did was I put together collections of, so I went through at the end of the year, and all the steampunk ones got put in a steampunk collection. I've got one that's it's called At Your Throat, with is it at your service, and then service is marked out and says at your throat. And it's
Vampire?
horror stories that take place in customer service.
Oh, I like that.
One of them is called Dead on Her Feet, and it's someone who dies at work and becomes a zombie and nobody notices.
Wow.
Customer service, yes. So, and here's the thing with collections, which is that those of you that are taking part in all of these Raconteur Press anthologies can take, once you your stories come out of the exclusivity period with Rack Press or Sanderly Studios, because mine is similar to the 1 year exclusivity point, you can take those stories and put them together and put a nice cover on it. And if you don't know if it's nice, run it by me. I'll tell you. And then you can publish that. And if you do somewhere between stories, and it's somewhere between 50,000 to 80,000 words long, you can easily charge over the 70% breakpoint on Amazon, which is at $2.99. So for a collection of short stories, what do you think for pricing?
I will say it's going to depend on how many stories you have in there, but I wouldn't go below $2.99.
No, definitely not below $2.99.
$2.99 or $3.99,
so,
honestly.
Depending on the length of it, $2.99, $3.99. I mean, if you've got 100,000 words in there and 10,000 word stories, and go for $4.99. I mean, that's a good chunk of reading, and for the reader, because so that is a way to get paid twice.
We're all about getting paid twice.
Absolutely. Have fun, get paid
all about
twice.
So and if you need to also check if you've got something in an anthology, go look at the publication date on Amazon. And if it's a day past that, it's all yours. Go.
Yep. And you should, if you have your contracts in a file, and you should, you can always refer to that as well. Although I think the publication dates on Amazon are when we exclusivity.
Yeah, we do. So what I'm going to do is intern Steve's job is going to be setting up automatic emails to go out saying, thank you so very much, fly be free emails.
Yes.
So
we'll actually notify you when you get your copyright free and clear to be able to publish it again.
Yes.
One more thing on Jonna's plate.
Because having that letter will help if you, so if they say this is available elsewhere, say I've got the rights back. Here's my proof.
Here's the proof from the company, and we just think we should do that. So slowly catching up on all the amazing amounts of paperwork a small publisher has to do.
And we want to we want to be proactive and send them out, so you're not trying to chase us down for it.
You shouldn't have to do that.
We try not to let things fall through the cracks, because there was an email that I meant to respond to for 2 weeks.
Okay, I will tell you, the cracks in the sidewalk that is Raconteur Press are very wide right now. And it's not for lack of desire. We're pouring more concrete into these things as we go. Not to do a horrible metaphor, but that's kind of what we're doing, is we're learning, oh my God, look, all that stuff is over. Let's go fix that. So, because we're very young.
Brian, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Emails,
so that they get programmed to once a contract notification has gone out, then there's an automatic email program to go out a year later, basically.
Yeah, I just
So-
did one when our latest round of contracts went out.
Mhm.
I created the email and I scheduled it
Yes.
to go out a year later, saying thank you so very much. And but I need to attach a formal letter to that from the company releasing you.
Yes.
So I've started the process of doing that. So, but it's a process.
Mhm.
So
It is continuous improvement, to use a line from
Continuous
the
improvement.
job interview today.
continuous yeah, and we're getting a lot better at our systems, which I am proud of us.
Mhm.
We're getting better. So anyway, that's a
For the curious, the job interview went very well. I like the people. The job sounds like it would be endlessly fascinating, and they probably can't afford me. So we'll see.
Gosh, that's such a
So familiar,
so,
right?
it sounds so familiar. We would love to pay you, but we can't.
Uh-huh.
Well, you're
We know
so
what you're worth.
overqualified for this job, and your hair is white, so you'll leave in 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get the people work this job because they're passionate about the mission of the company, and I'm like, oh boy, I know what that means.
Like, see, we like to we like to think of our employees as as part of our family. Like, oh, you want me to work for less then? Yeah. So you
Right.
show
To
up
those of us who have toxic families, that is not an encouraging line.
No.
so you require
no.
me to show up on holidays and weekends. Are not going to pay me what I'm worth.
Oh, so I have to do all the between everybody, and then I have to make sure everybody gets a birthday cake. I will not be your family.
I will say that interviewing for a job when you don't actually need the job
It's easier.
is really
Mhm.
freeing.
Mhm.
I could ask blunt questions, and I did.
I do that anyway, which sort of, I've always been that way, but
Yeah.
that's me.
Mhm.
Although one of my favorite things is, so why do you want to work here? I'm like, I've never done this before. It looks interesting. To like, oh, I'm way overqualified for the position I'm applying for, but I've never done like this specific thing, and I'm eager to learn.
Why do you want this job? I am tired of telling the men's opera chorus to pull up their goddamn socks. Oh, and I'm tired of washing them too. Oh, so
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah, no, there's age discrimination is rampant, Carlton. Rampant.
Mhm.
Yes, she's had to deal with it. I've seen my husband deal with it. And I'm not quite there yet, but it's coming. I can feel it.
Yeah. Oh, my mom's dealing with it too.
Mhm.
My mom was also out of the workforce for 5 years. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing is that
That's a segue.
that's a whole rant.
Yeah.
Let's not. Let's not. Do we have more questions?
Are there more questions? All right.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see.
And that's a perfectly legit answer, Dawn, that you needed money and he needed staff. This is an answer. I mean, why do they
Right?
want more than this from
like,
us?
I enjoy paying my rents. Like,
If I'm doing it for love, I should be paid a whole lot more.
mhm.
So
Like if I can't pay an exposure, I mean, I guess I could pay an exposure, but nobody really wants to see that. So like,
I don't know. OnlyFans probably has a whole
I was
category.
going to say, this
They
is the whole
do.
business
This is
model
how
of
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. So
It's okay, never mind. Next question.
I'm ready to join the ranks of Only Grands.
Only grands. We need only grands.
Cooking
Yes.
videos. I could happily
do
make my
sewing
living
videos.
doing cooking
I can do
videos.
sewing videos. So
yes, we need to do that.
if somebody said, "Why are you applying for this job?" I would like to not be homeless.
I would like to eat. Yes.
Right?
Yes, Michael. I enjoy eating and having shelter.
Yes.
So very important.
Don just pointed out that cooking videos is only pans.
Only fans.
Oh.
Okay. There's
Um.
whole Instagram videos of really hot guys cooking.
Oh my.
I mean,
Like-
some of those I would.
That's only
okay.
fans and only pans. I mean,
I
Towel cigarette moment.
I'll be honest, like the guy who's shirtless and makes dessert and is
you guys find videos that I've never even.
No, like, oh, here, honey.
Some ones, I mean, I get Uncle Roger being sarcastic at people for their failures at egg fried rice. So
Obviously, our search histories are
are
very, different.
I will say, I stumbled across been watching home renovation because got a bathroom that needs help. But there was a guy talking about kitchen sinks and how to pick out a good kitchen sink, which was interesting. And I'm watching him for a few minutes trying to figure something out, and it finally dawned on me.
Oh, yes, Reacher's amazing.
He was a modern, up-to-date, slimmer Al Borland. And that
Oh,
dates
my
me
God.
right there.
No, okay, Michael, I have to tell you, the whole Tom Cruise's Reacher thing made me fall over in a fit of unbelievable giggles, because Tom Cruise actually came to Eugene when I was living there, and I worked on the movie set when he was doing the Prefontaine movie. I was in wardrobe, and I have to tell you, in my tennis shoes, I had 4 inches, and I was looking over the top of his head. Reacher is supposed to be 6'4", 240 pounds of solid muscle. And the Reacher that just came out, which I've watched, I think, like 3 times now, just for the visuals.
He is
but
very
it's
nice.
well done.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the right attitude. So, fabulous series. So
okay, so there's one guy I watch on. I think I catch his reels on Facebook, and it's lessons to never cross a gay man, and this Tom Cruise looking motherfucker walks up. And I'm like, oh. And he was short. And I'm like, I love you. He's so funny. I just
honey.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think she wants you to stop, Tom.
Do not.
The cooking channel was Only Flans. That's a limited cooking channel.
That's the
Julie.
Mexican.
Hi, Julie.
That's the Mexican cooking channel.
Okay, so back to the questions.
Back to the questions.
4 times. You mentioned Reacher, and I was like, oh, good visuals. So he's a very pretty man. His jeans fit very nicely.
So Carlton did ask, and you already answered, but we should answer on the stream just in case.
Okay.
Is it practical to send a short reply, e.g. format errors, when a story is rejected for format rather than content?
Yes, I have done that.
Yes.
So when we were in Imaginarium, I actually had time to sit, and poor Richard Cartwright sat right next to me while I was doing the Imaginarium postcards
and got
a real education and some of the frustrating, because I was trying to catch those and kick them right back to people. So, because they put it in like 14-point or times New Roman, and I'd kick it back and go, please look that this needs to be this. Please send it back. You still have time before the deadline. So if I have time to do that, I absolutely do that. So anyone who saw the stream on Tuesday with the guys, I got stories, and I got 4 apologies this morning from people who really didn't owe me apologies, but of email on your story. I'm not going to do it for you because I don't have time when I have 35 stories in the hopper. Mm-hmm. So I will send it back. It doesn't reject the story from getting into the pool. It's just, please fix this. Yes. So I do that because I want people's stories to be in, but I also want it to be right. So because when I'm trying to do when I'm tracking all the stories and getting them in, I just don't have time to do that. I just don't. Mm-hmm. With all the other stuff we've got going on, because we practice diverse income streams in Jonna's life, and I have like 6 things that I'm running all at the same time. So it's really important, but I don't want people. We're trying to teach people to do it right, and we can't teach people if we don't send it back and tell them what they need to fix. So yeah, I do that. So.
And that's the last of the serious questions. I can ask one of the non-serious questions.
I think we're happily taking non-serious questions.
Okay. If water is a clear liquid, why does cloth get darker when it's wet?
That would have to do with the qualities of light refraction and reflection off of fabric.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
It changes the density.
Well, that
doesn't really change the density, but it changes the quality of how the light bounces back, which is what your eye perceives.
Yes. So when you have water spots on a dress because your steamer was spitting and it goes out on stage, everybody sees it. So because the lights.
Yeah.
So
the albedo, which is for some reason I like that word. The albedo of planets is how you can tell what the makeup of the planetary surface is like.
Yeah.
And it's similar with the fabric. If you've got water on a planet, it's going to reflect differently. And if you've got water on fabric, it's going to reflect differently. Now, fabric absorbs water, generally speaking.
Yep.
Not all fabric. Some fabric doesn't.
Some polyester will just spit it right back out at you.
Right. Yes. Beads right up and runs right off.
But it will absorb all of your sweat and keep it for the rest of your natural life. So
no, Don, that's not why I like it, but yes.
No. There are some fabrics so you can attempt to get it wet, but it will just, it's not really fabric. It's more like plastic.
Yeah.
Well,
But natural fibers will absorb.
and things
Yeah.
like oiled fabric or Dad used to
It's already saturated with
right.
something.
Dad
so.
used to boil cloth in linseed oil to
making tarps and waterproof stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, and water will just run right off of that. So.
Oh, good question from Joel.
Aha. Yes.
And
Ebook with illustrations. Yes. we did. How large a Kindle file before it becomes a problem? Well, that depends on how you define problem.
Right.
So here's the thing. Amazon charges a delivery fee for every file. However, most text-only files are relatively small, so you'll probably never notice the delivery fee. Also, if you're in the 35% royalty slot, so below $2.99, or you've manually switched it to 35% royalty, then you don't get charged the delivery fee. Amazon eats it on it's on their side of that royalty share. So if the ebook is very large with a lot of illustrations, then like say a textbook, there's a reason that most textbooks that are ebooks are PDF files, because that you can do much, much smaller than any kind of embedded JPEG or PNGs, or God forbid, you don't even want to put TIFFs in there. What I have been doing with the postcard anthologies is I actually use KPF files, which is Kindle Create, is their own little applet. It's a little app thing. It's not like a full-fledged software thing, and you can upload PDF into it or JPEGs, and that's how they do formatting for things like comic books. So that's how I'm doing the postcard anthologies. Now, if I take my print PDF file at 300 DPI, that is going to look spiffy when it runs through on actual paper, that file is large, and running it through to become a KPF file makes it even bigger. PubShare has a 50 megabyte upload limit, and which is a fairly gosh darn large file. So what I have had to do is I lower the postcard anthology DPI to 44, and then run it through to become a KPF, because it's going to be seen on screens. Technically, you can go as low as 72. I don't want to do that because I want people to still be able to bring it up on a large monitor and blow pixelated or blurry. So Tiffany asks about 95 or 75. I wouldn't go any. Okay, 96. I just can't read that far. I wouldn't go any lower than 96, but that will reduce the file size. I use 144 just because I'm still trying to retain some quality for when it gets blown up on a big monitor. My biggest monitor is 32 inches, so that's where I'm doing tests of. My husband has a 50-inch monitor. I could throw it up onto his and see what it looked like, but I haven't bothered doing that because I would have to transfer it to his computer. So
we're pixelating a little. So.
Are we pixelating?
Yeah, just
so
some you may have missed. I hope all the audio came through on that.
Yeah. So if you need me to repeat anything, let me know.
Oh.
So, so you can absolutely do graphic novels as ebooks, but yes, reduce your DPI. You don't need 300 DPI for an ebook. Hopefully no one's printing your ebook because that implies a violation of copyright. So your print, you want 300 DPI. For an ebook, you don't need 300 DPI. And you can upload a PDF into Kindle Create. If you're not using Amazon exclusive, there are other ways to do that. Converting a PDF file to an EPUB is a bad idea. Do not do it. No. An illustrated book converted to an EPUB looks like crap. Don't. I've done it once. It was a disaster. Just no.
So I'm seeing the need for one of our episodes to be you talking all about these questions.
Yes.
Because Joel just asked a really good question too.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly this is one we have to put in the jar and talk about, guys, because there's some definite questions here.
So 5 pictures, absolutely okay. That's not going to be a very large file at all. When I'm doing the postcard anthologies, we're talking probably 50 images, 40 to 50 images.
Yeah.
So, and when I do coloring books or some of the art books I have done, I'm usually looking at somewhere between 40 to 100 images, depending on the book. It's a very large file.
They're big.
Yeah, 96-page files. That's about what I use in the book, and they are massive. And it actually has caused me to contemplate, even if I'm going to charge. Well, okay, if you put coloring book in the title, Amazon will not let you make it into an ebook. Just FYI. But the illustrated books that I did with Law Dog, those I did as ebook as well, and we had no issue with them, but I did contemplate cutting the royalty share down to 35, so we didn't have to eat the delivery fee.
Yeah.
But it's generally speaking, you're going to have to charge a little more because there's that delivery fee. You've got to contemplate that too. Yeah. So putting pictures into a cookbook, that's going to be a project I'll be doing soon. Not just for the Rack Press one, but I'm working on my own cookbook slowly but surely. And that will be fully illustrated, but not with photos. I'm going to be doing black and white line art illustrations so that the print version of it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
Ah, good plan.
So yeah, that one's black and white interior print is a whole lot cheaper than the color.
Yes. Joel did ask how large are the files in megabytes. So
let's see here. I think the postcard anthologies, once I drop them to 144 DPI, are running around 25 megabytes.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Some bigger, some large, some, I don't think any of them are smaller than that.
No.
So that's still a pretty significant.
Yeah, we wanted to go larger, but we also realized you were running up against that. So
Right. Well, I was going to ask Chuck if I could upload a larger than 50 megabytes file somehow, but that's a lot on his end and server. And the figuring out that I could drop it lower was like, whew, good, here we go.
Yeah. So entertaining. Did we have other questions? Non-serious questions?
That
was a pretty good question.
Yeah.
That was like, okay then. So
Yes. Somehow these soapboxes pop up underneath of me.
You see the one that follows me around every now and then. Right?
Here's
we all have those.
Cedar button. Off she goes.
Well, at this point, I've had to figure all this out because there's not a lot out there about this stuff.
Recreate the wheel, right?
No, absolutely.
Share it so other people don't have to go through the pain.
Learn from my mistakes.
Learn. So, because that just, I don't see any reason why people have to. This is a problem I had in the SCA, is people were hoarding information about historical clothing construction and stuff. Because back in the dark ages of time when we had to go to the card catalog and try to do interlibrary loan for a book that was only available at some university, which you can now get online on PDF and Gutenberg.
Because God bless Project Gutenberg.
Oh my God, Gutenberg, right? Why?
Yeah.
Here, let me help you so you don't have to do all that. So, but some people do that, and I don't get it.
Well, okay. Earlier today, I got to have this really fun thing happen in my Discord channel because we have a Discord server, and then the little sub things are called channels because Discord is still, but a couple of the people and I were riffing off of each other prompts. And we were actually having this conversation about the AI and art while we were writing Midjourney prompts. So we were jamming.
Yep.
And that kind of bouncing off of somebody else's mind is...
Oh, isn't that the best?
It is so fun.
Just the best.
And you learn things that you didn't know, and they hopefully learn things that they didn't know or hadn't. And this was a really weird philosophical conversation entirely done in art.
I'm reminded. Yeah. Something we used to do is Tuesday morning coffees. We had a bunch of different artists who were, one was a professional storyteller with Emmys, Don, Mr. Disney Imagineer, and Nadia. And Mark was brainstorming doing a summer camp, an archaeologist summer camp. So for kids and getting paid for the park service through it. So we got a great big piece of brown paper. We went to our favorite coffee shop and took the big table in the back, and we just riffed on what would be the story that you would send kids on. And we were drawing all over and doing all kinds of stuff and writing and creating this entire artistic flow of all of us putting together this brainstorming idea. And it was so much fun. And it's similar to sitting around with a bunch of authors like you two yesterday. I was in the back working, and these two were riffing on all, and I was sort of, I had one ear kind of going, oh, they're playing. This is cute. Wow, that sounds like work.
We may have come up with a couple anthology ideas.
Came up with some anthology, but they were just riffing back and forth on it and how much fun this is. And that, I think, is the best part. That is the most fun.
Well, some of the conversations I used to have, and I kind of miss not being part of the forum that I did this on, was okay, so it was a fan group for a musical.
It's okay.
Musical show.
You can say it. It's okay.
No, it's okay. Fine. And me and two of my friends would get online after a very, very long day. We would make sure it was after the kids were in bed because we didn't want the little 15, 16, 17-year-olds popping in every now and then. And we would run amok. And we would start in our own personal channel. And as we got drunker, carry on other places. And it was creative storytelling. Like we all had our online personas, and we, we were the.
It was a role playing game.
Kind of like, and there were no rules to it. Like
it was variation on it.
Yeah, it was like
Calvin Ball, no rules.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Calvin Ball.
Yeah, it's like, and we were the nymphs.
Why are we not playing Calvin Ball at conventions?
Nobody knows what the rules
Calvin Ball with storytelling.
The floor is lava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, we had our own custom suits, jackets that let us hug ourselves. Mine was Kelly green with sprinkles, and if they were if the mods were like 6 o'clock in the morning, the mods would set a nymph trap.
Okay, there's one thing I've wanted to do at conventions for decades, right? Because we talked about it years ago. I want to make little wickets for croquet on little stands and play croquet through the halls at conventions. They can be sticky wickets.
I have a Mad Hatter top hat, which just goes
too.
with that
but
too.
The point is, there's like, and the kind of creativity that goes on with that, and the storytelling that comes from that is just the best. I mean, so.
But it was fun, and the mods would go through and clean up everything. 6 o'clock in the morning, they would set their little trap, and they would put vodka-soaked strawberries and a bottle of Bailey's under a box.
Actually, just a pitcher of mimosas.
And just and then we'd get stuck in the trap, and they'd clear and they would go through and clear all of our stuff because, oh my God, we made jokes all night long.
That's why that.
But we didn't want the teenagers to be there and see it. So
So Calvin Ball is from Calvin and Hobbes.
Brian, how do you not know Calvin Ball? Have you not read Calvin and Hobbes?
What?
We need to expose him to more Calvin and Hobbes because he will appreciate that.
I have the entire collection of Calvin and Hobbes because I raised my daughter on Calvin and Hobbes. I was so proud when she came in. She was building little snowmen in our snowfall, and she came and said, "Mom, do you have any red food coloring?" And I was like, my work here is done.
Calvin Ball is essentially the game with no rules that Calvin plays with himself and Hobbes. And it's just that kind of crazy chaos that you would expect from a really creative kid who's also telling stories as he goes with it. So it is. Speaking of Night at the Museum, there's a Facebook meme about happier than a necromancer in a natural history museum.
Oh my
yes!
And I had a moment where I actually had a story idea, which hadn't happened in a really long time, so it hit me pretty hard. But of a necromancer who got the go-ahead, who's always being very restrained and not practicing their magic because and they got the go-ahead, some crisis, and all of a sudden they were allowed to do necromancy, and they head straight for the Natural History Museum. To which my husband was like, Sue?
It's like, we all think of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, don't we?
Mhm.
I
Will
want
never
the
die.
pterodactyl.
I
I want the pterodactyl.
I want the giant whale.
Oh, that too.
Ooh.
But I want the
Right?
pterodactyl. I want to like,
Yeah.
because it looks, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There was one of those weird YouTube videos that pops up in my algorithm. They found in the 1840s a beluga whale skeleton in a farmer's field in Vermont.
Yes.
And that one just lends itself well to necromancer in a natural history museum.
Yes. I will tell you, the British Museum of Natural History in London is mind-boggling. But even more mind-boggling is the Natural History Museum from like the 1780s in Florence that is full of all kinds of really bad taxidermy because they would kill the animals and skin them and draw a picture of them and then send them back to Florence. And then the people who got them didn't really know what they looked like, so they would just kind of randomly stuff them, so you get these weird things with their
like the weird taxidermy is just
hilarious. And it's also, you can smell the arsenic in the air, and they have an entire bird collection full of birds that are extinct now. I mean, but it's crazy to see.
There's a really huge natural history museum, I think in Paris.
Yes,
I saw some pictures of
Yeah,
it.
there is.
And it was like, I want to go there. I don't really want to go to Paris, but I want to go
A
there.
necromancer tours the great natural history museums.
Well, Dawn says there's a really nice cave bear at the Denver Museum of Nature
There
and
is.
Science.
There
Which
is.
reminded me,
Yeah.
at Big Bone Lick in Kentucky, there is a mastodon skull that I have a photo of my youngest daughter standing in front of it. It's huge.
Oh, it's huge, buddy.
Yes, it's huge at Big Bone Lick.
Oh my goodness, it's been an hour. I think we stopped there.
I've killed them.
So, it's been an hour. We've reached a Big Bone Lick. We know it's time to go.
Oh my god. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. We're just
Putting
gonna
up with
stop
our
right
sense of
there.
humor.
Right there. Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
Oh my god.